Welcome to the Quickstart webinar. Coach Noah here. It's been a week. It's been a week since the last one. This is the 83rd Quickstart webinar, almost consecutive, outside of a couple holidays. That's a cool accomplishment. We got to do something really exciting for 100th anniversary here coming up. Folks are logging in, so we do this webinar every single Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. If you're just logging in for the first time ever, welcome. The Quick Start webinar is really about, well, I guess I break it down into two things. If you've never been on this call before and you love the idea of using people instead of banks to fund real estate deals, you're in the right place. That's what we do. We're learning about private money lending every single day in real estate investing. If you love the idea of putting your money to work at a nice interest rate and having it secured by real estate that is worth much more than your loan amount, then yeah, you're probably a lender. It's in you. It's in your DNA, right? So you're in the right place. We talk about that every single week. Private money lending best practices, fundamentals. But then it's called the Quick Start webinar because it's all about how does a person get started with this? How does a real estate investor start working with private lenders? Where do they go? What do they say? How does a lender meet borrowers? So we talk about these things, right? It's not called the sit around and wait webinar. It's the quick start webinar. So every single week we talk about how to get started. Joseph is a part of Private Money Club. He's my co-pilot on these calls here. So if you have any questions about private lending, anything we talk about, cool. You can post them in the Q&A section. You can put them in the chat, and I'll try to catch them as they come up. But if you have any questions about Private Money Club, enrolling in a class, becoming a member of PMC, anything like that, Joseph is the person. He can point you in the right direction. All right, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Quick Start webinar. Coach Noah Harris here. We do this call on behalf of Private Money Club. Our founders, Stephen Nagy, Chris Naugle, Shauna and the gang. Welcome, welcome. Every single week we hop on here and we practice. I was excited. I don't know about you guys. Did you get an email reminder? I get the email reminders. I always like to see what the email reminders say because I want to make sure that I'm delivering every single week. So are you in or are you out? Here's the webinar reminder for today's call. We're going to talk about insights into private money lending and borrowing. Check. Uncover the secrets to informed, profitable decisions. I'll cover some things. I don't know if they're secrets, but sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. We're going to cover that stuff. Check. Absolutely. Connect, learn, and grow with the Private Money Club community. Yeah, absolutely. If you're about learning, networking, and growing, we're going to check all three of those boxes here today. Inside the chat, it's a great place to start networking. I'm a big believer that this is a relationship-based business. This isn't, it's not like you're just filling out an application and then the computer system's going to spit you back a green light or a red light, right? This is about building relationships. If you want to use people to fund your real estate deals, then you got to go where the people are who actually want to fund real estate deals. And if you want to be a lender, then it's the same thing. You got to go to where there's real estate people and real estate investors. Every single call that we do, we also talk about, what we want to make sure we're providing to lenders. How do you make it easy for a lender to say yes? Are you making it easy for people to say yes to you, or are you making it difficult for people to really understand even what's going on? Right? So I have a checklist here that both borrowers and lenders can use, and we'll break this down here in towards the end of the call as well. Lenders, I wouldn't be lending funds if the borrowers weren't providing these things here, right? At a minimum, so this is kind of, okay, let's see if we can, potentially do a deal together. I'm going to need to see these things. And if we move forward, I'm going to need these things in place to feel comfortable, right? As a lender. So we'll talk about this as well, which is awesome. So if you are just logging on for the first time, Joseph, we've got 75 people on the call, including you and me, you and I. So I'll just take 15 seconds to introduce myself. My name is Noah Harris. I am a coach for the Private Money Club, PMC Private Money Club. I'll show you what that is, how you can leverage this platform to help fund real estate deals or find places to put money. I am a real estate investor. So when I teach this class or any other class that I might teach, or if I'm on stage at an event, like the Money Tank that's coming up November 7th and 8th in Orlando, Florida. I share insight from the perspective of a real estate investor. Lots of times I'll do case studies where I'll talk about what went good, what went wrong, what could have been better. You might see a company called Revive Homes every once in a while. That's my house flipping company. It's been around since 2013. I'm out of Columbia, South Carolina. And my goal is to help you create a 100% track record in your real estate investing business or in your lending business as well. That's what it's all about. When I first started doing these webinars for Private Money Club a while back, I asked the company, the my friend Steven, who's one of the owners of this thing, and I said, what's the goal with this? What do you want me to do? Right? And he said, just educate. We want to up the education inside the club, right? And really have make that like the core of things, right? So that's what we do. So every single Thursday we practice. We practice private money lending best practices. We talk about the fundamentals. And the reason being is we want to stay sharp. We want to stay sharp, right? Like you don't want to wait until you have a deal before you have a list of lenders, before you have those relationships. You don't want to wait until you have a deal before you start like actually reaching out to people. Like let's get this going, or practicing what to say or how to say it and things like this, right? So like a few slides ago, I put up this little example elevator pitch. Well, you don't want to wait until you have a deal to study this, right? This should be something that's ingrained into your subconscious. How do you do that? Well, you hop on every Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern time and we go over these things. We practice, right? We practice. It's just like sports. It's just like playing the violin. It's just like studying for a big test in school. Like as a kid, like you got to put in the work. And on these calls here, that's what we do every week. We put in the work. I think I got a question in the Q&A section. So let me just hit this up and see what it is. Okay, so this is a question from Robert. What's the minimum dollar range for mobile home fix and flips? That's a great question, Robert. Are any of you interested in mobile home investing, manufactured home investing? Does anybody do mobile or manufactured homes now? I know Chris does. I know Jennifer Pertel owns a mobile home park that's on this call here. Is there anyone else that does? Would you guys be interested in learning a little bit about manufactured homes or mobile homes? Am I the only crazy person on this call outside of Chris Stokes and Jen Pertel that invest in mobile homes? So that's a great question. I would say the minimum amount, I'll be very transparent with you guys. My wife, Christy, and Christy's over here. She's the one hustling here. Christy loves manufactured homes and investing in mobile homes and mobile home parks. She's owned a couple in the past. I would say there really is no minimum, Robert. And I know that sounds crazy, but as we started our real estate investing business together 12 or 13 years ago, whatever it was, as we started getting these leads come in, and we live in the state of South Carolina, it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when you're going to see a mobile or manufactured home or mobile home park opportunity or RV park, like Matthew said, things like this, right? It's not a matter of if, but when. And what a lot of people do is they see these leads and they have no freaking clue what to do with them. And lots of times people will look at an older mobile home and be like, I don't know what the heck to do with this thing. It's run down, right? Lots of times in our area, at least, people might buy a piece of land that they like. Maybe it's on the lake, maybe it's on acreage, and they're like, okay, there's this old mobile home here. I want to build my $1 million dream home, but before I do that, I have to demo this thing. What we can do is we can actually go in and get those manufactured homes sometimes, Robert, for free. We've gotten mobile homes trailers for free because people just need them removed from their properties. So to ask the question, what's the minimum dollar range for mobile home fix and flips? From the acquisition standpoint, I would say as low as you can go, as low as you can go. I've got case studies on case studies that I could share. Maybe we do that next week about mobile and manufactured home deals that we've done. I can share with you this information. But what you're going to find is with the materials, Robert, lots of times it's much cheaper. So, from it doesn't have to be. We've done some that were with the same cabinets and things like that we put into our starter home fix and flips. We put in our manufactured homes, right? Same flooring and things like this. But you'll find the materials are cheaper. Lots of times you're not pulling permits and doing things that you might have to do with some of the stick-built houses, the manufactured homes. So to answer your question, it's minimal. It can be minimal, right? But there are some that we've done that have been really nice. I'll do some case studies next week on that. Is 10K enough? Could be. It just depends on the work that needs to be done. I know some of our trailers and older mobile homes that we've purchased and put in either our Christie's parks or other people when she owned parks or in other people's mobile home parks. Um, uh, a 10K budget could be great, could be more than enough for a renovation for what you may turn into a rental property, right? Just depends, case by case, right? Can you get a hard money loan against your house to get funding? Well, that's an anonymous question. I don't know if I would recommend that. You could get a home equity line of credit against your house, so you have it set up so you can take advantage of different things, if that's right for you. Um, I always like doing it this way. This is cool. This is fun, Joseph. We're answering questions. We haven't even really gotten into anything yet, but it's a great question. Can you get a hard money loan against your house to get funding? I think a private money lender may be open to something like this, but you just got to, if it's your primary residence, then it might not be as appealing because of some of the lending laws, right? And so, anytime lenders, this is important. If you're lending on deals, you want to make sure that the deals are commercial investment purpose types of loans, right? So, I don't know if that would necessarily be wise, but you could get a home equity line of credit if you qualified that could help you get in the game and get some cash for your business, right? Don't do anything with your home. Yeah, I don't know, right? It's just you don't have to. I think once you learn like some of the things we're going to talk about here today, like there's no reason why you would have to do that, Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous. Okay. All right. So anytime that I teach, anytime that I'm talking to a lender one on one, I love to talk about the risks. So look, this is a webinar. We're talking about borrowing and lending. I wouldn't lend money that I wasn't willing to lose. If you don't know what you're doing, there's a good chance you could lose, right? I try my best on these calls to show options that people have, that same similar things that banks use and hard money lending companies use to make sure that they're protected in some sort of way, right? So you're going to hear me talk a lot about mortgages, promissory notes, insurance, personal guarantees, things like this. So just because you're a private lender doesn't mean you're not asking for the same things that a hard money lending company might want, right? What makes banks and hard money lending companies so profitable? Well, they're smart. They're not stupid. They're not going to give a loan just to a person and not have it collateralized by the real estate. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I know people who have lost money, private money lending. They came to me and said, "Hey, look, I lost. I don't know what to do. It's been 6 months, or excuse me, it's been a year, and it's supposed to be 6 months. I haven't been paid back yet." And when I asked them, "Did you get this, and this?" They say, "No, I didn't. I didn't get any of those things." It's like, okay, well, did you ask this question, this question, this question? And they're like, "Nah, man, I didn't know to ask those questions." I was like, what the hell are you doing? They're like, well, it was 15% interest. The guy's on Facebook. He looks like he knows everything, right? I hear it all the time. So education, education, education. This is a risky business. If you want to be great at borrowing money, then talk about the risks. Put systems in place, put plans in place, right? To alleviate some of those risks. Put in the safety nets. If a piece of and by the way, lenders, you should be asking, hey, if you don't sell the house for what you think you're going to sell it for, what happens? If the repair costs are more than what you think they're going to be, what happens? And see how those people answer, see how they answer those questions. All right, guys. And if you want help with this, I do teach a class. It's called the Accelerator Course for Private Money Club. It's twice a week for 4 weeks. We dive in for an hour and a half, 2 hours each session, and then there's some help and some coaching afterwards. If you're interested in that, it's called the Accelerator Program. There's a link right there in the chat box that Joseph put up. It says go.privatemoneyclub.com/blueprint. You can schedule a time to talk to Joseph about enrolling in that class or anything else that PMC has to offer. But before we get any further, let me ask you a question. What do you think of when you hear the term private lender? What do you think of when you hear the term private lender? Type it in the chat box. What do you think of? Melissa says, my rich uncle. This is good. Okay, I'm glad you said that. Melissa, how do we tap private money lenders? I'm going to show you. All right, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. If I had a deal or I was aspiring real estate investor, I knew I was going to need money soon. Melissa and everyone else, I will show you exactly what I would do if I were you guys. Okay. William says person to person. Joseph says a person or an individual. Teresa says high interest. Yeah, it could be high, could be, but it's all, relative, right? Not a bank, but private individuals, Bernardo. Yeah, absolutely. So just so we're clear, like, because if you went on Google and Googled private money lender, lots of times you're going to see hundreds of thousands of search results probably. And a lot of that is going to be a bank, it's going to be an institution or some sort of fund. It's not going to be necessarily be a person. So sometimes the term private lender is used in the finance world as an institute, a fund, or something like. They're not necessarily a traditional bank like a Wells Fargo or Bank of America. So they fall into that bucket of private lending. Inside of Private Money Club, when we talk about private lender, we're talking about people. All right, we're talking about people. All right, so big, 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 big difference. Okay, so let's get into it here. We need to focus on finding our people. Some of the folks on this call right now are in these pictures, which is kind of funny, which is cool to see. See you guys on here, right? An individual that has money to lend that wants to make money, healthy return on their investment. That's good. That's so good. That's almost AI. That's almost an AI answer, Chris. That's so good. I love it. I love it. Find your people. But the problem is, lots of times it's hard to find folks. I think it was Melissa said, "My rich uncle," right? Now, Melissa, is your rich uncle, is he already a private lender? How many of you know someone that would make a great private money lender, but they don't know it yet? All right, Dominic. Yeah, I know I know this person would make coworker, family, friend, right? But maybe they've never been introduced to it. So this is where this practice comes into play. And today when we're talking about the elevator pitch and things like this, and just getting the education around how do I communicate? How do I articulate? You could have, Dominic, you could have the greatest deal in the world, but if you're not able to like get in front of someone and explain why it would be beneficial for them to partake in being a lender on your deal, then you're going to struggle, right? So these are the things that we're going to hit on and talk about. Cindy, yeah, my neighbor just retired and is retired vet also. Okay, perfect. Yeah, commonality, right? You'd be surprised how many people I meet who retire and they're like, I don't know anybody that would be a good private lender. And I'm like, well, you just retired. What did you retire from? This, that, or the other. Oh, okay. Well, was there anybody that retired a few years ahead of you? Yeah. There you go. Is there anybody that's going to be retiring soon behind you? Yeah. Well, there you go. Right. Let's start having these conversations with folks. Right. So you got to find your people. Okay. So I'm going to teach you today, if you're on the call for the first time, how to maximize this beautiful platform that is the Private Money Club. So, number one, I'm going to tell you to go create a profile at privatemoneyclub.com. You can create a profile on privatemoneyclub.com for free. You can post deals. There are some messaging limitations with a free account, but you can get the ball rolling on privatemoneyclub.com. Everyone can have a membership, right? Now, there's two options with the profiles. You can go create a free profile, or like Anna said, she's a premier member, right? So there are some differences between free and premier, of course, right? I'll share with you what those are. I'll share with you some of the benefits of being a premier member, things like this. But everyone can have a profile on Private Money Club for free that's on this call right now that I'm aware of, right? You just go to privatemoneyclub.com to do so. The second thing you got to get on there and do is post your deals. If you have a deal, post. If you don't have a deal yet, I would be posting about you, about yourself. Introduce yourself to the group. Introduce yourself to different groups within the Private Money Club platform, right? Hey, brand new to Private Money Club. I'm out of Columbia, South Carolina. My buy boxes, I buy single family houses for 100 grand. After I'm done fixing them up, they're worth 250. If you'd like to connect, reach out to me, right? I'd be making posts and getting my name out there because again, this is like this is relationship based, right? There's different opportunities to present your deals. I would participate in classes, courses. I would participate in any type of networking event that Private Money Club has going on. We've got a huge event going on next weekend in Orlando, Florida. And if you can make it live, make it live. If you can't make it live, there's a virtual option. So you can attend virtually and network on the Zoom with everyone else that's attending virtually. It's really cool. It's a really cool setup how they do that. And then I would be doing the same thing over and over and over again to help stay consistent. Consistency is key. So you're going to create a profile, right? What is a normal earnest deposit? Thank you. On what? It just depends on it just it depends on the type of deal. Just depends on the type of deal. Um, Create your profile, right? I'll show you some steps and different things I would do. I'll show you mine. Post your deals. Hop on Money Club Monday, which is an event that Private Money Club does every single Monday where members share opportunities, lenders are on, borrowers are on, and you're talking to the right people. It's so simple to get money to fund a real estate deal when you know where to go. If you didn't have anywhere to go, it's nearly impossible. But if there's people that are interested in what you got to say and understand already what private money lending is, I would want to be in front of them. Not only, and I wouldn't wait until I have a deal. I would be in front of them as much as possible, so and building those relationships so that as soon as I have a deal, I don't have to worry about where the money's coming from. I already have those relationships set up, right? Here's an example of me sharing an opportunity on Private Money Club, Money Club Monday call. Stephen Nagy hosts that, one of the co-founders of PMC. He does a great job, and it's just a really cool opportunity. If you haven't done so yet and you have deals, go get yourself comfortable with being uncomfortable and start sharing with the group live, not just posting them, right? Step number 4 is I would participate. Okay, so you got your profile on PMC, you got your deals posted, you're active in the private money club. People know you, they're recognizing your names. You're on Money Club Mondays, introducing yourself, becoming friends and family with everybody that's in there. And then now you're in classes, now you're going to events and really, shaking hands, right? Shaking hands. I'll show you some. I was actually doing some research. I was a little late to the party here today because I was doing some research on Universal Studios because this is where the event is. It's in Universal Studios, so it's at the Lowe's Sapphire Hotel in Orlando, and there's like a waterway connected, and there's like a gondola that you can take to Universal City Walk. So I used to live in Orlando. I went to University of Central Florida, and we used to go down there all the time, and had a blast. And my wife lived in Orlando too before we actually knew each other, ironically, and we would always go to Pat O'Brien's and get the hurricanes. So I was planning my Friday night route. So there's a VIP party for all the VIP attendees, and then I think that's till like eight o'clock or something like that. And then afterwards, what's the plan? Well, wife and I, we don't get out much without the kids. We're going to Patio O'Brien's, baby. Throw back a couple hurricanes. It's gonna be a good time. All right, so, participate. So here's all the classes. Here's all the classes that you can take. I'll talk about these. We do masterminds as well every single third Thursday where we're networking as a community, which is awesome, right? Oh my God, there's money for the deal I was just talking about in the private money club. All right, cool. I like it. I like it. Hey, I'm in NOLA. Okay, you guys are networking. This is what I love. I love to see this. This is awesome. This is awesome. Yeah. So, all right, so here we go. Here we go. Other opportunities to network with other people in a classroom type of setting while learning something cool. We just talked about mobile homes and manufactured homes. My wife, Christy, actually teaches a class about mobile homes and manufactured homes, and it's called the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge. It's through the Private Money Club. If you're interested in that, you can text Joseph. You can click on the link and schedule a call with him to enroll in the class. But for 4 weeks, Christy is a big believer that she can take anyone willing to do the work and make the calls and really get them on their way to becoming a mobile home investor or manufactured home investor. It's a pretty cool class. She's an awesome instructor. If you've had Christy as your coach at some point in your life, make yourself known. Just say I did, or I like Christy. I love Christy. I took the class. I'm curious to see if there's anyone else on here that has taken this course or had Christy as a coach in the past. I'd love to hear from you. I know she would too. Is there any free trial or discount for Premier? Well, there is a free trial. You can create a profile for free, Melissa, and then you can kind of get your foot in, put your toe in the water and see what's up and everything. I'll show you. I'll show you here in a minute. And then Joseph is known, okay, Melissa, Joseph is known to keep promo codes in his back pocket. All right, so if you're interested and you want the hookup, text my man Joseph there. He's been known to have some promo codes in his back pocket. Joseph, is that right? I teach a class called the Accelerator class. I know I see a lot of familiar names in here. It's good to see you guys. If you just feel like, hey, I love the idea of becoming a private lender, but I'm not 100% confident in my decision making because I don't know what I don't know, I'd recommend taking this class. I know that a lot of people join Private Money Club because for a lot of reasons, but from a lender's perspective, a lot of people join because they have these life insurance policies that the BYOB team sets up. And you're just trying to figure out, how do I be my own bank? And people come from different backgrounds, but they love the idea of making the interest and having it secured by real estate, but they're not real estate people. So if that's you, I would recommend, figuring out a way, if it's not with my class, get education somewhere before you start lending, so you can be good at like looking at what a deal actually is and what a good borrower should look like, what a good deal should look like, and things like that. I appreciate the nice words, Anna. Thank you. Thank you for that. And then if you're interested in any of this stuff, you just click on the link that says Blueprint in the chat box. There's a calendar. You can select the day and time that works for you. Joseph will give you a call and he can help get you signed up for stuff. Okay. All right. So here's what I would do. Step one, what did we talk about? Create a profile. So you come to privatemoneyclub.com. Now, this is the website. If you haven't been there yet, you can see it's pretty cool. William's in the house. William's on the call right now. He just posted this. William, you're up late, man. 12:21 in the morning, getting work done. I love it. I love it. You can see here, it's like a kind of got like the social media vibe, super clean, right? It's all about real estate. It's all about money, real estate. It's just, it's like social media, but without all the crap that comes with social media. And then, so I'm gonna cruise up here I'll show you my profile, and then I want you to go and create yours. So I'll click on mine. Here's mine. Um, I recommend, for those of you who are hopping on for the first time, you got to get a picture. I don't recommend being in Private Money Club without a photo. If this is like a relationship type of transact like business, then it's important that people see that you're a real person. Today's day and age, it's all this AI and all these scams and crap. Like, I would put a photo up there that shows like who you are and what you're all about, right? You can kind of see the vibe that we're giving off in that photo, family run business. This section here is an opportunity to post photos. I use this to showcase some of my important team. That's my real estate agent there, La Rosa, in the white sweater, one of our business partners in the pink pants, Erica, and my wife, Christy, there on the right. These are past projects. I have pictures from my slide deck when I'm presenting deals on Money Club Monday that show, my market and things like this. And I'm just showcasing some of our projects. These are actually mobile homes right here. These last couple of ones that I showed. Because sometimes people are like, manufactured homes. I'd be like, yeah, if you flip picture number 9 and 10 in my profile, those are manufactured homes. They're like, wow, that looks amazing, And so you can showcase some of your work here, which is awesome. Now, when you go to fill out your profile, Melissa and everybody else, I would be detailed. Don't just put I'm a real estate investor or I'm looking to borrow, right? Like, you want to put your best foot forward. So examples of some things that you could put in here is kind of like, what's your business model look like? Where do you invest? What's a typical loan amount look like for you? When you borrow money, do you give a mortgage and a promissory note and insurance and things like this? What do you provide to the lenders? So there's some things in here. You can find my name here, Noah and Christy Harris. My wife and I share a profile, not weird. And you can go and kind of see what we got and kind of make it your own, right? If you want to copy and paste, just make sure you personalize it, right? So get the profile going. And if you click on other people's profiles, you can see their past deals. You can see if they have any certifications. As a Premier member, one of the biggest differences is that when you log in as a Premier member, you're actually given like these points that allow you to take classes inside of PMC, such as the Certified Lender course, which is, you can see I took this almost a year ago, right? So you'll notice I'm a Premier member because I have a little orange circle next to my name, and I got a little pink check showing that I took the Certified Lender course as well. Now you can also look at people's reviews here, and all different kinds of things. So that's the profile, right? I'd start working on that. Number two is post. So you can post in the community section. If you didn't have a deal right now, then maybe you post just like William did. Hey, I'm networking in Ohio, right? Just you're making yourself known. You're putting yourself out there. People are becoming familiar with your name, right? You don't necessarily have to have a deal to share, right? If you did have a deal, I would certainly post it here. But where you want to post deals is here in the deal section, and it takes like 2 minutes to post a deal, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, come over here. I click post deal. I type in the address. It's going to pull up an address. And then I just fill in this section here. I add pictures. If I have a scope of work or comps or something like that, I could put that as an attachment so lenders can look at all of the data, right? And then if I'm interested, once your deal is posted, it'll post right here. And it stays up here for 30 days. 30 days it stays up here or until you take it down or it gets funded. So just to give you an example, if I come over to Sheldon, I click on Sheldon's here, I can see Sheldon's profile. Okay, Sheldon has taken, he's a premier member and he took the certified borrower course. I like it. He's got pictures of his property here. This is 12%, 37,000 first position. He's looking for something a little bit more long term, 5 year balloon. So this, 12%, 37,000, making a monthly interest. Check coming to your mailbox money, as they call it, right? I can click on the link down here, and I can actually see, okay, yeah, this house exists. This house exists. All right. Now, if I was interested, I'd come over here. I'd click on Sheldon's profile. I can read up on Sheldon, see what he's all about, right? And if I'm comfortable, now look, I'm not saying you go and fund the deal just because you clicked on the guy's picture. Okay, like let's be very clear. But what I would like to see everyone do that's interested in lending is to start having conversations with people. How do you know what you like if you don't go on any dates? So you got to message people and say, "Hey, I'd love to connect. I'd love to hear about your deal." I come over here, I click I'm interested, and that he would get notified, right? Or I could come over here and I could shoot him a message. Hey, I'm interested in this project that you have posted. So you can come over here and go to members. And so if I didn't know anyone, what a person could do is just filter lenders, and then the lenders would pop up, people who are interested in lending, and then you could message them, right? Hey, I just posted a new deal on Private Money Club. Love for you to go check it out, so on and so forth, right? Let's see. Jen Pertel. So this Jen's on the call right now. I love highlighting Jen. She's an awesome investor and student. She posted a deal recently. You're our next PML, right? Oh, this was it. I love this post here. This stood out to me. Like, how do you not want to message this person, right? She's got a little comic thing going on here. Good morning, PMC lenders. Our deal is ready for funding. We're closing, blah, 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 right? So even though this deal is probably funded already, what I would do is I would say, hey, Jen, I love your energy. I love your vibe. Even though this one might be funded, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I would say, hey, let's connect. I love to learn about your next opportunity. I'd love to get on your list, right? And be one of the first to hear about your deals. And so this is just what's cool about it. I really think this is what makes it unique. There are resources and things like that if you need help. If you're like, man, Noah, this sounds fantastic, but like my education isn't in real estate. Like my background isn't in real estate. I would plan on taking a couple classes, right? At least read some books, take the classes, take the accelerator course, get to the money tank, start learning. Whatever you want to invest in, by the way, you need to be learning as much as possible about it. Okay. Like there's things that I know are probably really good investments, but I'm not passionate about learning about them. So I never would invest in them. I like real estate because I like learning about real estate, right? So if that's you, you're like, man, this makes sense. This I see the it's connecting for me. Cool. Like, well, just make sure you get educated before you just jump into something. All right. Money Tank. I'm gonna put pictures, or I'm gonna put links in the chat box. I know Joseph's been doing it too, but if you go to Money Tank, privatemoneyclub.com/money tank, you can learn all about this upcoming event that's going on in Orlando, Florida. I'm really excited to reconnect with a lot of you and reconnect with some of my favorite speakers like Kevin Shortell, America's #1 best-selling or expert in buying and selling notes. I'm really excited to learn from Stella Han, she's the owner or co-founder of Fractional, which is a really cool concept to help get deals funded and forming investment clubs. I'm really excited to hear from Brent, Mike Puglisi, and we've got a session on self-storage, real estate investment, uh, uh, real estate investments and self-storage, and then Mike's teaching about land. And so Mike's a guy. I just started learning about Mike recently because I've been on some of these calls that they're doing for the Money Tank, where some of the speakers and the people that are going get to meet each other in advance. And I was really fascinated with what Mike was doing with land. I'm from Florida, like I'm from Cape Coral, Florida. I went to Cape Coral High School, and I see investors buying lots and buying and selling lots. And Mike's out of Sarasota, so it's really cool to see the different things that they're doing. And I was like, dang, I think that could be a really cool option. And if I was a lender on the call right now and I had like 50 grand or less, let's say, to work with, Mike's session is one that I would want to check out because if you're buying and selling lots and land, that's probably going to be something that you could come in as a lender and have a first position lien on lots, the land. So it's really cool. There's a lot of things I'm looking forward to, but those are some of the topics that I'm definitely looking forward to. And then there is, hey, who's that guy? I know him. There is a virtual ticket option. It's 97 bucks. So if you can't make it in person, hop on the virtual and you can participate right alongside everybody else that's going to be there live, which is pretty cool, right? As a lender, we're worried about three or four things, okay? As a lender, number one, you want to get back your money. Duh, right? Principal. You got to get back your principal. Number two, you want to make your interest. So you want to make sure you're getting back your money, you're making your interest, right? Number three, we want to make sure that our money is constantly out there and working. What a lot of people struggle with is they might lend to one person, have one person that they work with, and then they get their money back, but then that person doesn't have another deal lined up. So now your money's on the sidelines for a couple of months waiting for the next one. So just like a borrower should have lenders lined up, I think the lenders should also have good borrowers lined up. And then they can kind of cherry pick and make sure that the deals that they're selecting coincide with, helping them keeping their money out there working. Okay. So, anyways, she's a good one to talk to, as well as other people, Chris and William on the call here that I have gotten a chance to know personally. Are the houses on the website already under contract? They should be. Yeah. And by the way, if I was a lender, I would be asking borrowers for a copy of the ratified contract. All right? That's part of your checklist, I would say, right? Like just saying if you were to have a checklist of things that you wanted to see before you were going to do a deal with someone, I would want to see a copy of the contract. 100%. So houses should be under contract. Absolutely. Absolutely. If they're not, you're doing it wrong. Okay. What's a basic otter plan? Robert, that's the $1 million question. I feel like when I hop on these Zoom calls, there's like 37 AIs. Everyone's got an assistant. Everyone's got an otter. I don't know. I don't freaking know. Yeah. So I gotta ask AI what the basic otter plan is, and they'll tell me all about themselves. I don't know. But yeah, everyone's got an assistant. I think the otter is the assistant for people on the Zoom calls. Let's talk about this checklist. So I love it. Are the houses under contract? They should be. They should be. You shouldn't be, you know, and that's the thing, guys. There's always this debate of like, well, should I get the funding first or the house first? And right? And it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg conversation, right? I'm a believer that you're building constantly building relationships with potential lenders while we're marketing and look out there looking for deals. And when you have one and the other, when one falls into your lap, the other one usually ends up happening too, right? It's just how the world works. But the universe seems to make you sweat a little bit sometimes. You might have the best deal and be like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to get the funding. Put it under contract. Let's figure it out. Have a little faith, right? Get in PMC, work your butt off, building relationships, and chances are it's going to happen. Is it going to happen every time? Maybe not. But how will you ever know, right? How will you ever know? You got to put it under contract, right? Now, if I was talking to lenders, And I had a great lender who's like, wow, I really like what you got going on. I like your plan. I like your business model. I'm gonna be transparent with them. Like, hey, look, I'm not gonna go and spend your money on something that doesn't make sense. So I have a very strict buying criteria. When I run my numbers, we don't bend it. It's a firm yes or no from us based off of the numbers that keeps us safe and it keeps you safe. And if it doesn't work out, we don't do the deal. That being said, I know you're ready to go right now. It might be 3, 4 weeks or months before I find a house that's going to meet our very strict criteria. I hope you understand that we're just not motivated buyers. We're going to make sure that we're doing things methodically. And any lender is going to say that makes sense. I appreciate that, right? So I hope this is good insight here. But yeah, you got to get the house. Houses should be under contract before you start looking for the funding. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's the checklist. So I would use this as a checklist from a borrower's perspective. I'd want to make sure I'm putting all these things in place. The top section helps lenders look and see, did we get a good deal? Is this a house that they're interested in? Right? How do we do that? Pictures, video walkthroughs. I do video walkthroughs of the inside and the outside and the neighborhood so they can kind of get a vibe, check out the vibe of the neighborhood. The executive summary it's like a one page, I call it an exit strategy letter, which talks about the attorneys that are involved, where I'm doing my closing, how the title search is being done. It outlines our plans for the project. It acknowledges that this is for commercial investment purposes, right? And so that's going to be kind of like the synopsis of what's happening. So someone can look at that one page and be like, okay, I understand what's happening with this deal. If the property's on the MLS, I want to see a nice printout of all the data that was published on the multiple listing service. These are all very simple things to get, by the way. This is not rocket science. This is not a wild goose chase. This is not going to take hours and hours to put together. And these are also things that any decent real estate investor should be doing. So if a real estate investor is like, I'm not going to do that, then go find someone else because they're probably not worth your time. Okay. Comparable sales packets. So data from a licensed real estate agent showing what the home is worth in its current condition and what it could be worth if it's all fixed up or whatever plans you plan on making to the property. I want to see from the county website, you can print out property tax maps and the property ID, tax ID cards. Scopes of work, if it's a house that's getting work done. All right, great. What are the line items of everything that's going to be getting done to that property? Copies of the contract, just like we talked about. And then if I have a slide deck that I used, I do because I present my deals on Money Club Monday. If I try to get on there every time I can. So I have my slide deck. And so this is all the information that when I post a deal on Private Money Club and someone says I'm interested, boom, right away I can send them over all of this information. And that's how it should be. And if it's not like that and you're a borrower, I challenge you to up your game to get better. And as a lender, I would challenge you to be disciplined enough to make sure that you're asking for these things, right? And you're not getting caught up in the flashy interest rate, right? Or the flashy Facebook profile. Okay. So I want to make sure that we have these things. Okay. Now, if it looks good, and you enjoy talking to the person, I might then suggest that you ask them for an experience worksheet where you have them fill out all the properties that they currently have and maybe their last 10 transactions if they've done that many or whatever, right? So that way you can look and see if the properties are cash flowing, properties are selling, right? You can get a good snapshot of where that real estate investor is as an investor financially. Personal financial statement is 100% okay to ask for. I would ask for a copy of the driver's license, and if you're lending to an LLC, which you should be lending to some sort of entity, not a person, then I want to see the LLC docs. I want to see that they're associated with that LLC and can be doing business on behalf of the LLC. Inside of Private Money Club, there's also something called the Perfect Loan Proposal. It's a template that members can download and use to help market themselves in their business to talk about who they are as a company, right? Now, if all of those check out, I might even add referrals to that. If you've been working with private lenders in the past, or if they have, I might ask for referrals. Okay. Now, as we move, if we're like, hey, this looks good, deal looks good, you look good, right? Here's what I would say are the non-negotiables requirements to do business. Number one, a mortgage or deed of trust, just like a bank would want if they're lending money on real estate. Promissory note, personal guarantee. I want to list I want the lender. I'm going to list the lender on the insurance, right? And I'm going to do a title search, and we're going to provide a title insurance policy for our lender. Okay. Any questions on that? I mean, it seems kind of thorough, but look, anytime I've seen someone mess up, or maybe not mess up, but things didn't go how they wanted them to go, and I ask them, hey, did you do these things here? None of the boxes are checked, or like maybe one or two of them are checked, right? So I look at this like you're putting on armor, and if you're missing the mortgage, well, now you don't have a helmet, pretty much. You're toast. Okay. If you don't have a promissory note, you got nothing. You might as well just be running around butt naked in the axe fight or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's like you need these things. You need these things. Don't let anybody tell you different, right? Sometimes people log off at this point because they're like, ah, shit, I was gonna try to get a loan and not do any of this work. It's funny. It happens. It happens. This takes work. Make sure you do it right. If you want to like, look, if you're a borrower, you're a real estate investor, and you want to borrow $300,000 from a person, don't you think you should probably do at least 3 hours worth of work putting together something that shows that you're worthy of that loan? If the answer is no, then don't like please log off. But if the answer is yes, this makes sense, then you're in the right place, right? You're in the right space. You're in the right group. All right. I'm gonna hit this elevator pitch one more time because Private Money Club Money Tank's coming up, and for those of you that are going, make sure that you practice. Okay, so take a snapshot, take a screenshot, take a photo. Maybe some of you, if you took the accelerator class, we covered this in great detail. Week two, session one. You can go back and you can watch the replays. But look, with the elevator, the first section there is really being able to explain at an elementary level what your business is. What's your niche? So if I was a real estate investor and I wanted to get great at borrowing money and being successful in real estate, I would dial in on like one type of real estate or one neighborhood or one zip code, right? Maybe it's ranch style houses, less than 2,000 square feet, 1980 or newer, minimum of 3 bedrooms and 2 baths in this zip code or this neighborhood, right? What's your niche? If you're a mobile home investor, if you're a manufactured home investor, like Christy might say, hey, we buy manufactured homes age 2000 or newer on at least half acre of land in these two zip codes, right? She's got her niche. So are you able to explain to someone quickly what it looks like to work with you from a dollar standpoint? What are the loans going to look like? What is their loan secured by, right? $150,000 loan secured by an asset worth 225. That's our like forever business model. That's always kind of been like a majority of our deals, right? And then what do you do for the lenders? What makes it seem safe? What makes it seem how do it's not a handshake deal, right? So what do you do to make sure that you take care of your lenders? Well, we provide them with a mortgage or promissory note, insurance, right? Just like a bank would want. And you can talk interest rate. I don't really like talking interest rates, but I do want it to make it clear that these are higher than normal interest rates that a person might make if they just have their money in the savings account. So you might say something like, "We pay our lenders a great rate of return. The loan is secured by the hard asset. People love it," right? And if people then are like, "Well, tell me how much do you pay?" At that point in time, and this is the biggest learning lesson on the whole call, an elevator pitch isn't designed to have someone get out their checkbook and be like, wow, do I make the check out to you? The elevator pitch is designed the goal is to set an appointment to talk to people, to get on a phone, to get on a Zoom call, to go have lunch, to start building the relationship. It's not designed to be like, well, I'm ready to go right now. That's silly, right? So when you're in Orlando or any networking event for that matter, just remember the goal of the elevator pitch is to start to build a relationship. It's to set a meet is to have a meeting to see in depth if you guys can see yourselves working together, right? If you want to be friends, okay? Does that make sense? I know I just gave you a lot. I hope I didn't overdo it. But if this was a good call, let me know in the chat box. This is the type of thing I like to do because, if you guys are having fun, I'm having fun. And so I'm just making sure that I'm having fun. Joseph, don't go anywhere. All right. Here's the deal. So I like great first one. Awesome, Connor. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That's my son's name. All right, cool. Here we go. All right, make a move. So anytime that we do this, and we do this weekly, right? And some of you come on and you're learning, you're staying plugged in. I love it. You're staying sharp. But if you're logging on and you haven't created a profile yet, I challenge you to do that. Go create your private money club profile. As a coach, I'm telling you, I'll be your coach. Not, I'm speaking figuratively. Like, if I was coaching you right now, I'd say go create the profile. If you've created your profile, I would say next step is to schedule a blueprint call. I don't know what your goals are. I don't know what your background is in. I don't know what you're looking to do. The best way to map this out for you is to talk with someone at Private Money Club like Joseph Nagasa that's in the chat box here. Schedule a blueprint call. Click on the link, get on the calendar. It's a really smart thing to do. If you are a Premier member and you haven't taken your free classes yet, you get certifications that you can take. You get a lender certification, a borrower certification. Go take those classes. Get those badges next to your name. Accelerator class, the class that I teach for PMC. We are doing the next one January 5th, right? January 5th. So right at the new year, boom, you're hitting the ground running. I do limit that class. I try my best to tell the folks don't enroll more than 20 people because you enroll more than 20 people, I have a harder time giving the one-on-one coaching attention. So how the accelerator class works is it's 4 weeks, twice a week, about an hour and a half per call. After the 4 weeks, when we go through all of the content, material, and resources and things like that, if you need help, guidance, want to kick ideas off of me, look at deals that you're looking at, get an opinion, right, from a real estate investor's perspective of what might be good about the deal, what might not be good. It's an additional 4 weeks after that where we can hop on the phone and talk to each other. If you're interested in mobile and manufactured home investing, Christy's got the class starting November 17th. November 17th is the next mobile home course. And it's an awesome class. Christy's fantastic. Once you get you'll see what I'm talking about when you meet her, but it's a fantastic, fantastic class. And I would say above all else right now, attend the Money Tank event. Get to the Money Tank event, come network, come meet people in person, have a good time in Orlando, Florida with the PMC crew. It's going to be a good time. We'll definitely be there. All right. So make a move. Have a great weekend, everyone. And happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. All right. See you later, Chris. Good seeing you.